Not on you right now. I'd say it again.
Yeah.
How about evening?
Good evening. The date is November 12th, 2013, and the time is 7:30 on the dot, and this is the Board of Trustees regular meeting, number 2013-22. Please take the roll.
President Barry?
Here.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Here.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Here.
Trustee Desmond?
Here.
Trustee Carberry?
Here.
Trustee Vorder?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, moving on to item 3 on the agenda, public comments. We have Nancy Justin Stevens. Hi, and could you please state your name and
Yes.
confirm you're an Oak Lawn resident?
I am. I'm Nancy Justice Stevens. Everybody can hear me okay? Yes? I live on 91st and 53rd Court, and this is in regards to parking around the library and also pedestrian traffic almost always getting hit when they walk out of the east and west doors. So I just picked up the paperwork today, and it will be going to the Traffic Committee on November 26th for the December meeting. I'm going to ask for parking signs to be put into the crosswalks so that we have some public safety around the library. And I'm also going to be asking for some no parking signs at the east and the west doors of the entrances to the library. Thank you.
Thank you. And moving on to item 4 on the agenda, conflict of interest disclosure. Does anyone have an item, a conflict of interest with any item on tonight's agenda? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on to item 5, approval of the meeting minutes for the regular meeting 2013-20, dated October 22nd, 2013. May I have a motion, please, on item 5?
A motion to approve, Madam President.
Properly moved by Trustee Vorder,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Carberry. Any discussion? Please take the roll.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to new business by village trustees and District 1, Trustee Tim Desmond.
Yes, very quickly on a light note tonight, I would like to invite everybody to Santa on the Green, presented by the Village of Oak Lawn and the Oak Lawn Special Events Commission. Join us on Saturday, November 30th, 2013 on the Village Green for our annual Santa on the Green, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. A holiday parade will kick off at 1 p.m. from the police department and proceed to the gazebo. Santa Claus will arrive at the parade and will be available for pictures and to hear children's requests. Frosty the Snowman and the Elf and Tie Soldier Stilt Walker will also stop by to say hello. The hospitality tent will feature Christmas carols by the Sward and Colmore School choruses from 1:30 to 2:15 p.m. Cookies and eggnog will be served, and children can take a ride on the mini polo train or enjoy a horse-drawn winter sleigh ride. And all around amusements will be selling funnel cakes and hot chocolate. Thank you.
Thank you. And moving on to District 2, Trustee Alex Oliniechek.
I just have 2 quick things. I'd like to remind people that there's a free polka party, Polka and More with Eddie Carosa Jr. and the Boys from Illinois. Very good band. The band has been together since 1976, plays polkas and favorite standards including big band waltzes, swing, rock and roll, and country from the 1920s to the 1970s. Concert sponsored by Friends of Oak Lawn Library. This event will take place on Sunday, November 17, 2013, from 2 p.m. until 4 p.m. at the Oak Lawn Public Library located at 9427 South Raymond Avenue. If you need more information, you can please call 422-4990, or you can visit www.oaklawnlibrary.org. I would like to remind people that we do have a senior snow shoveling program. We still have a big need for volunteers that would like to take a house to help shovel some senior snow. We've had a good initial response, but we still have many more homes that we need to cover. If you need any more information, you can contact me at the Village of Oak Lawn, or you can contact Officer Jim Passetti. And then the final thing is I would like to wish all the veterans, first of all, I'd like to thank you for your service and wish you a happy Veterans Day. Thank you.
Thank you. District 3,
I have
Trustee
no new
Straight.
business this evening.
Okay, very good. We're going to move on to District 4, Trustee Vorder.
Thank you, Madam President. Just to back Trustee Olenichek's congratulations to veterans. Yesterday, I had the privilege and the honor to be part of the Veterans Day celebrations on our village green in front of the Armed Forces Memorial. And it was over 100 people, I think, in attendance. And it was cold, it was rainy, but I was warmed by a great sense of pride by the children from our local grade schools who were out there to sing patriotic songs, by the dignitaries who made some wonderful, moving speeches, including our mayor and our clerk, and Congressman Lipinski. And I think I should point out that with the sequester and the closing down of government, Congressman Lipinski was the only congressman who was on that National Mall at that World War II memorial to take down the barricades that were set up to keep the veterans who fought for this country in World War II to visit their memorial. There is a flight called Honor Guard, which 100 World War II veterans are flown to their memorial. They're given a day there, and they get back on that airplane and they come back home. And if Congressman Lipinski wasn't there to take down those barricades, they would have been cheated. And again, he was the only congressman to do that. I'm happy to say that the American people have woke up to the blood and the sweat and the lives that our soldiers have given for our American way of life. I was a Vietnam veteran, and it took me almost 15 years before anybody thanked me for my service. But yesterday, I was proud. I was proud to be an American, but I was most proud to be an Oak Lawn resident. This has been my community forever, and they've stood up and made me proud. But one other thing, there's a publication that comes to my house every Thursday in the mail. I never solicit it, and I assumed that because I never solicited it, everybody in Oak Lawn is getting it. It's the Southtown Star. And they have a section there of a calendar of all events all over the southwest side. And some of the communities publish their meetings, a notification of their board meetings or their special meetings, their traffic meetings. There is a website in which we can participate in this. I'd ask the clerk or our staff to look at this. I'll pass this to you, Jane. And I think if everybody in Oak Lawn's getting it, it's just another way to communicate with our people about our meetings.
No
That's
problem.
all I have, Madam President.
Some of the smaller newspapers do publish the meetings already.
Do they?
But I'll make sure that
Okay,
the
thank you,
Southtown knows,
thank
and
you.
they're here tonight, so.
Thank you.
Steve, get that.
Okay, moving on to District 5, Trustee Quinlan.
Just one quick item. Just to let people know, last night the Oak Lawn Park District Board did have a meeting last night where they did discuss the removal of the basketball hoops. For the residents that weren't there, they have decided to hold off on that decision for a couple months. They are going to be forming a special committee where they may be asking some residents, and I may as well be sitting on that committee, to discuss this.
They would like to compete. They indicated they would compete, and I told them they certainly could. But they're aware that there is advancement in the field, and there are multiple firms that now provide this service and do so in an effective manner. In addition, I had a long discussion with Redflex about unpaid fines. In my opinion, we have many motorists that have been diligent and have dutifully paid their fines, and then we have others that have not. And there is a program available through the Illinois State Treasurer's Office that can accelerate the payments and get better participation in the uncollectibles. So that's another area I'd like to explore, and I would bring that back to the board if the board wished to pursue a more aggressive program to bring in unpaid red flex fines. Yes.
Can I ask you, and you may have discussed this at the budget meeting, but the school crossing camera technology beta program, can you explain what that is?
I'm sorry?
The beta program for the school crossings, is that part of,
Well,
that you want cameras?
In our budget workshop, Chief Murray was asked about the program that we've read about in Chicago, where cameras are used, technology of cameras, to help motorists to be more careful in school zones and to obey those school zones for pedestrian children crossing. And Chief Murray explained that the way the legislation reads in the state of Illinois, it is exclusively for a municipality of a million or more. That's only Chicago. So that was kind of the way red light enforcement started. It first was approved for the city of Chicago, and then other municipalities went to the legislature and said, we'd like to adopt that technology as well. Kind of like what you saw in the article for Skokie, Illinois. So what I suggested is it possible, working with our legislators, to try an experimental program for a smaller municipality to see if there is a deterrent on unsafe conditions, that motorists do respect more the importance of school zones and not to speed or go through school zones.
Before we do that, do you have plans to meet with the schools to get their approval, since it's, right around their property? And
Certainly.
Okay, can I
Not sure
interject on
that-
that?
Trustee Oliniechek, go ahead.
I'm working on a project right now with the schools in 2nd District. One of the schools is bordered by Central and Southwest Highway, and there's been a lot of concern about the amount of traffic that goes through, the speed of the traffic, and in talking with our law enforcement organization about how it's difficult in the current adjudication or the current legal process, because a speeding ticket is given on a driver's license. We have to go to Bridgeview Court, and the way the law is written and the way it's enforced is that you have to identify the school zone. There has to be children present. It's not just during normal school times, and they have to be within a certain amount of feet of the street. And there's been some loopholes with that. And I'm of the feeling, and Larry Deachin and myself and some other trustees have talked about a zero tolerance in school zones, because it is any school, whether it's on a side street or if it's on a highway. People should not have the ability and should not be allowed to have any wiggle room in going through those areas, going over the speed limit. When you have crossings that are literally happen at 93rd and Central, you've got 95th and Central, which is a red light. You got Southwest Highway, or a light. You have Southwest Highway, which is a light. And if you look at the speed of the people trying to get from one light to another light, we just want to make sure that the police have the right tools to be able to hold the people who are not conforming and basically driving safe within that area. And then further, is being a trustee for 9 years now, some of the biggest concerns I've had is school zones in the neighborhoods and people speeding. Oak Lawn High School getting out, there's a big influx during school of kids coming down certain streets that there's traffic concerns with. And Covington, which is on another street, 91st Street. So I really think that, if we could use technology to help hold people accountable, and to achieve the desired results of people not speeding in a school zone, I think that would be good. Because my favorite phone call is from a resident said, if you put a car at this block, I guarantee you that the police will be writing more tickets than you can have enough money to print. But unfortunately, you put somebody there, you do get people conforming with the speed. and then you pull them away, the frustration is you start seeing that climb up, and we just don't have all the resources, enough police to put all throughout all the districts during that period of time to be able to hold people accountable. So it's just a strategy to be able to use technology to make our streets safer.
Trustee Quinlan, go ahead.
I totally agree with what you're saying because, like you, it's a huge, the amount of complaints that I get, but I'll be completely honest, I am a little torn on cameras, and especially, schools where the residents, their houses are bordering the school, and there's good possibility those cameras then would be actually, photographing those houses or those residences. And, could be a little bit of an invasion of privacy. So I'm just curious, the placement of the cameras, if that's part of that discussion, and just to make sure that the schools are aware, because I'm in complete agreement that it's a huge issue and kids are going to get hurt with speeding.
If I
in the
could,
school.
President and Board, all I'm looking for merely is a direction from the board tonight if you'd like the staff to do more. And I envision us coming back because I would agree, it's complex, it's particularly with the school zone, it's new technology of which, quite frankly, we're not eligible to use as I understand it.
Right.
But we'd have to come back to you. We may even have a workshop setting to go over, bring in a proposed vendor for you or for committee to look at before bringing it back to the board.
Can I just interject one more thing?
Trustee Oliniechek?
On that school speed zone, it's, the cameras, that's a long-term play, but the short-term play is, I have contacted our local representatives. We've set up meetings to talk to them about being able to help the police department when they do go to the court system. We've also set up a meeting with the supervisor of the courts in Bridgeview to have a zero tolerance in the speed zones, but also work on legislation. I don't know if you've ever been in the state of Florida, but you go in a speed zone in the state of Florida, kids don't have to be. It's from time to time, and when the lights are flashing, you go 1 mile over that speed limit, zero tolerance, 100% enforcement. When you're caught, you go to court and you pay a big ticket. We just want people to make sure that our school zones, and it's not just in Oak Lawn, it's throughout all the various suburbs, that we have safe school speed zones and that people are driving within the reason of the law.
And park zones are a problem too. So.
Trustee Border, it looked like you had something you wanted to say earlier.
No, I just want a clarification. This is just research work. We don't have the power to install speed cameras.
Correct.
I believe the current law only allows the city of Chicago 1 million people. But there's nothing wrong with researching it. I think public safety is important. You make a good point, though, Carol, about where these cameras actually monitor and where they view at. And I think I'd like to know a little bit more about that, and the research might help us with that.
Right. Okay.
Mayor?
Trustee Straight?
Well, I'd just like to add, I think we're all for public safety, there's no doubt about that. And of course, it has been very clear that we cannot put these cameras into, school zones under state law currently. And I have no objection. I certainly think looking at how we can improve safety around the schools is a good thing. But part of this proposal is to expand the red light camera, the number of cameras throughout the village of Oak Lawn. That's the number one thing that's stated on this. And I just want to make sure that if we're going to, I don't have any problem with going out for a request for proposals to take a look at the idea, but I'd also like to hear more about, more evidence about how this can improve public safety, as opposed to the argument that we do here, quite regularly, that it's a revenue enhancement tool. And I want to make sure that I know that on our budget presentation, this was presented as a revenue enhancement. I want to make sure that what we're really doing is we're trying to provide for the public safety and not as a method of generating revenues.
Okay. Larry, any comments?
No,
further?
that's fine.
Okay. Item B, technology presentation featuring Oak Lawn Corporation.
Well, thank you, Mayor and Board. Occasionally, we get so tied up in a lot of matters here that we forget and realize that there's a lot of really talented men and women who work in this community in a lot of areas. And right here in our backyard is a corporation that is aligned with the world's leading company in material handling. And material handling is how we get about products and get them distributed and eventually get those products on the shelves for men and women and family can purchase and use those. And this is occurring right here, 2 shifts, operates 2 shifts, employs close to 200 men and women in our community, and I thought I'd just share with this very briefly. This company, some of you know it as Automotion on 111th, others know it as Winwright, and I think you'll find this fascinating. Josh? This is their technology center in Oak Lawn. This is the technology center where they make the conveyor belts and the various systems. There's different types of conveyor belts that move product in large corporations like Nordstrom, Walmart, companies like that have distribution centers throughout the United States and the world. And they'll have customers come to the technology center and look at the different conveyor belts that are displayed, different models. This center is adjacent to their manufacturing facility, which is a structure of over 75,000 square feet, and in there you'll find their engineering, their marketing, their accounting. You'll find machine shop operators. You'll find a paint shop. You'll find welders. You'll find forklift truck drivers, and all the various positions that you would find in a vertically integrated manufacturer. Okay, Josh, that's good. The message here is that you have, just like we talk about Advocate and the wonderful things that Advocate is doing with their major expansion and bringing technology, this is on the other spectrum. You have a manufacturer, not a service provider of health care, but a manufacturer in industry in our backyard, and this manufacturer will bring, again, buyers, engineers from firms all over the United States to Oak Lawn, and those men and women have to stay. They have to have a place to stay. They need to be in a hotel. They need to eat. They need to purchase goods and services. They have to get rent-a-cars. So there's a lot of things happening that make up that complex system we call an economy, and this is one that I thought I wanted to share with the board, and I hope in the future that we have more companies like that to share. A while back, we brought to you Meyer Tool, which is helping in space. They're probably one of the premier tool companies. Trustee Desmond has been to their facility. We reached out to the leadership of that company, who began by employing an intern from Oak Lawn High School many years ago, and now that gentleman is a leader in the manufacturing operation of Meyer Tool. And they service many of the research labs across the United States, from California to Virginia. This is a publication that you're soon going to see on Oak Lawn, and it talks about biking to Metra. It will have a map and a legend, and it's hopefully, again, promoting as the green team led by Trustee Olenichek and a group of very committed volunteer citizens work to provide better biking infrastructure in our community that takes you soon to the Stony Creek Promenade under construction with Mariano's, to Wolf Wildlife, to the Metra, to Centennial Park, linkage to our schools. But that's the goal. Oak Lawn really is a quite bikeable community, but linking those facilities with safe bikeways, protected bike lanes, bicycle paths is complex. We've had a draft master bike plan that's been before our Planning Commission. We hope to take it to the Planning Commission again and eventually bring it back to the full board for adoption. Okay, thank you very much, Josh. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
And then, President Board, I have just one more information item that Chief Murray and Commander Clark have asked me to bring to your attention, and that I'm gonna let Chief Murray get up, and if I could have you go to the dais and just talk about the gift of preparedness. Thanks, Mike.
He gave it us.
Thank you, Larry.
Thanks.
Just briefly, the Oak Lawn Police Department is partnering with Christ Hospital and Walgreens, as well as the Village. We're putting a program together that will bring down the cost of a weather radio to the residents of Oak Lawn. With grant money from the hospital, what we've done is created a discount coupon for residents that can come in and pick one of these up. Walgreens, in turn, will discount the cost of a weather radio, and residents can purchase a weather radio for their home at a greatly reduced cost. This ties into our whole program that we've been moving towards for a safer Oak Lawn, a safer community, but it goes along with the new tornado sirens that were put up. We've gotten a lot of questions. We're still fine-tuning those, but we got a lot of comments about, I can't hear the sirens inside my house. And, one of the things that we have to remind people is they're not designed for you to hear inside your house. It's designed for the people that are outside so that they know that it's coming and they're not near a radio. And the radio is to be used in conjunction with that, so it's inside your house, and when there is severe weather, it will notify you inside your home. So even though you won't hear those sirens outside, you'll hear the weather radio inside. But basically, the program will be that for about a week, we will have those coupons available here at the Village. We've designated an equal amount for each trustee district for a period of time, and then after that time, they'll be first come, first serve. The coupons will be available between December 2nd and December 6th, and then after December 7th, Walgreens will have them available at the store at 95th and Cicero, where you can go and pick them up. They will also have other safety things available for you to purchase there, but the coupons are good for just the weather radios alone. We'll have more on the Village website, and we'll make it available through other different sources, the newspapers, and Walgreens will also be advertising this opportunity. So thank you.
It's a great program, thank you.
Thank you, President. That's all I have.
Okay. Moving on, item A. This is ordinance 1322-71. This is an ordinance of the Village of Oak Lawn, Cook County, Illinois, continuing the regional water system and providing for improvements and extensions thereto and borrowings to pay the costs thereof, providing for the Oak Lawn Retail Waterworks and Sewerage System to purchase water from the regional water system, providing for the sale and delivery of water from the regional water system pursuant to a long-term water sale, purchase and service agreement for the local system and also with the villages of Mokina, New Lenox, Orland Park, and Tinley Park, Illinois, and the city of Oak Forest, Illinois. And authorizing the execution and delivery of a water sale, purchase, and service agreement by and between said regional water system and Oak Lawn Retail Waterworks and Sewerage System, and also with said municipalities. May I have a motion, please, on item 8?
For approval?
That was trustee Straight? Okay, properly moved by trustee Straight,
Second.
seconded by trustee Desmond. Any discussion on this item?
Yeah, Madam President.
Trustee Vorder.
I'm new to the board, and I know that we've had competent professional people working on this water project for a number of years. But this is probably the largest public works project in the history of the Village of Oak Lawn, well over $100 million. And Friday I was given this ordinance, which is, I don't know, 100 pages. I really feel, as the final arbitrator of the people who have to support back with their tax dollars this ordinance, I'm not real comfortable with this thing because I haven't had the time to really digest it. What I would like to do is ask the village manager that if this gets approved tonight, if I have any questions or need any changes or any wording changes in this document, have that ability to do that.
Okay. Larry, would you like to comment?
Absolutely, President. I'd like to make a few remarks, but I want to stick to trustee Vorderer's comment in my response. The answer is absolutely correct. And I wouldn't expect, given the voluminous nature and the many years and the importance of this project, that if any trustee wanted to look through every page, have a question, that we would not afford you that opportunity. Between now, sequentially, and December, Oak Forest, Mokina, New Lenox, Orland Park, and then finally Tinley will be meeting and acting. So the final ordinance to be approved will be in early December, but Oak Lawn owns the system. We're the lead, as I've said several times, and publicly. It really needs to be known that not just in these chambers when you have your regular meetings, but through the years, Trustee Quinlan, Public Works Chair Strite, Public Works Chair Olenichik, Tim Desmond, Mike Carberry, Terry, have spent hours and hours and have met with the consultants going over these documents. And I applaud you for saying what you've said, and as I spread out in the conference room the many exhibits and the document, absolutely. I'll have a package there for all the board members, hard copy, if they wish to go in at their leisure and look at those documents in the weeks ahead. But I would assure you that we have negotiated, and your experts and your staff, to the very best of our ability on behalf of the Village of Oak Lawn, for, you are correct, an historic agreement that will provide a reliable water supply for the next 40 years. First time in history that Chicago has executed on February 13th of 2013. So many months ago, the Mayor Manuel and the City Council and staff went through the water supply agreement, and for the first time ever, they signed a 30 plus 10 year, a 40-year agreement. Up to that point, the agreement since the 1960s has only been 10 years, 10 years, 10 years. And based upon that long-term agreement, we were able to execute successfully with Orland Park, Oak Forest, Mokina, New Lenox, and Tinley Park, a 40-year agreement to mirror that supply agreement. And in that, it accounts for the men and women who work in the water department, their share on the wholesale system being paid for proportionately by the other municipalities as opposed to our taxpayers for a return on our assets. We'll call it a water profit, a fair return based on national standards. And it includes the clear identification throughout the document that this is the Oak Lawn water system, and taxpayers of Oak Lawn own that, even though we'll be paying only for approximately 11.7% in the worst case scenario of the capital, and the remaining communities of Oak Forest, Orland Park, Mokina, New Lenox, Palos Park, Palos Hills, and Chicago Ridge and Oak Forest would be paying the balance. If we're successful by 2016 and 2020, when the contracts run out with Country Club Hills and Madison and Olympia Fields, our share will drop from 11.7% of the capital investment to 9.989%. And to Trustee Carberry's credit at the Public Works Committee, he had a lot of excellent questions regarding default mechanism and strength, bond rating of the other communities. And there are many, many strong provisions that address default. I mean, obviously, we hope that never occurs. And the strength of our customers as far as their bond rating is fairly good, with the exception of a couple communities in the southeast. But we're certainly going to work with them. They're paying their bills in a timely fashion now. They've been paying the return on assets that Brian Hannigan and Joanne provided in the billing starting in January of 2013. And I'm certainly hopeful that the leaders of those three communities, once Oak Lawn has acted and the other communities to the southwest and the northwest have acted, that they will come on board and do the responsible thing for their citizens as well.
Well, I think that more than answers my question. I want to know if I vote yes, and I see something here I'm concerned about.
So he just wanted to know if he can come back
Yeah.
to you, Larry, if he has a concern.
Yes, I listen.
It was
I
kind
know,
of a
Larry,
one-word
excellent
answer.
presentation. I know you guys have done a great job on this, and people far smarter than me have negotiated this, but I do have a fiduciary responsibility to my constituents to be comfortable with this document.
I'd say that to any resident, Jerry, and I also think the media, quite frankly, and the use of the website through the last several years have covered this story very well, done an excellent job. But I would entertain any question, and we'll do our best as staff to answer
Okay,
those.
all right. Okay, Larry, thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion on item 8? Please take the roll.
Trustee Strike?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Item 9 is Resolution 132246. This is a resolution initiating the submission to the voters of the Village of Oak Lawn, the public question of whether to limit the offices of village president and village trustee to 3 consecutive terms in the Village of Oak
I'd
Lawn.
like to table it.
Okay, motion to table by Trustee Carberry,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Oliniechek. And please call the roll.
Trustee Strike?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 10, Resolution 1322-47. This is a resolution approving the purchase agreement with Flapjacks. May I have a motion, please, on item 10?
Make a motion approved?
Properly moved by Trustee Quinlan,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Carberry. Any discussion on item 10? Please take the roll.
Trustee Strike?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Item 11, request for approval and direction to the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners to hire 1 police officer from the current eligibility list due to a resignation. May I have a motion, please, on item 11?
Motion to approve.
Properly moved by Trustee Vorder, seconded by Trustee Oliniechek. Any discussion?
Mayor, if I could,
Certainly.
this item occurred in between the preparation of the budget and what we've been discussing and will be discussing, and Chief Murray approached me, and I told him I would support the filling of this position based upon our discussions. It is distinguished from the other two vacancies, which we'll be talking about, that occurred prior to this one. So that's why that's on.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so item 11, please call the roll.
Trustee Strike?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 12 is a request to waive the formal bidding process and approve the purchase and subsequent capital lease of 2 Ford pickup trucks for the Department of Public Works Water Division from Hawk Ford in the amount of $44,988. May I have a motion, please, on item 12?
Motion to approve?
Properly moved by Trustee
Second.
Oliniechek and seconded by Trustee Carberry. Any discussion? Please take the roll.
Trustee Strike?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
And Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, moving on to 13. This is a request for approval to waive the formal bidding process and purchase, and approve the purchase and subsequent capital lease of one 2013 Ford pickup truck for the Department of Public Works Sewer Division from Hawk Ford in the amount of $29,682. May I have a motion, please, on item 13?
Motion to approve?
Properly moved by Trustee Oliniechek.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Strite. Any discussion? Please take the roll.
Trustee Strike?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
And Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Moving on to 14, this is a request to approve the recommendation to repair the truck 83rd Street, 83ST, sorry, I'm looking at it, in the Department of Public Works in the amount of $109,648 to Power Leasing of Romeoville, Illinois. May I have a motion, please, on item 14?
Motion to approve?
Properly moved by Trustee Oliniechek.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Strite. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee Strike?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, this is moving on. Item 15, recommendation to award the purchase of a dump body and installation for the Department of Public Works Street Division, 74ST, to the lowest bidder, Monroe Truck Equipment of Joliet, Illinois, in the amount of $40,305. May I have a motion?
Motion approved.
Properly moved by Trustee Oliniechek,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Carberry. Any discussion? Please take the roll.
Trustee Strike?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
And Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 16, health benefits for elected officials discussion. I'm going to open the floor.
Madam Mayor, if I could.
Yes.
Board members, first of all, apologize for being a little late this evening. Traffic was worse than I thought. We asked that this be put on for discussion tonight. After the last meeting, there was a request to regarding the health benefits for elected officials. We've researched it after that meeting. There is state law on the books regarding the timing of the removal of health benefits from any elected officials. There's portions of the Illinois Municipal Code which state that compensation and benefits cannot be modified during the term of an elected trustee. So that we've looked at that. The second angle we're looking at, and we discussed that the last legislative committee, is if you are to go forward, before I get into that, so that's one issue, the timing of it. The second issue is if you are to go forward with a repeal of health benefits for elected officials, is there direction from the board whether or not you would like to still allow elected officials to purchase by their own money the plan from the village? That wasn't really discussed at the last meeting. I think that's important to talk about before we start drafting the ordinance. What we've been looking at is kind of the historical process the village has gone by with elected official health benefits. There used to be a benefit and pay ordinance in the village that I think encaptured that. That was repealed some time ago. The village code is, somewhat silent as to specific portions where benefits and salaries are discussed. So that's what we're compiling. I would like to hear some direction on what you guys think about, if that is the direction of the board to go forward with the reduction in health benefits regarding the possibility of current trustees and even future trustees about paying for those benefits of their own money.
Councilman, Mayor.
Trustee Carberry.
There's gonna be a lot of discussion that's gonna take place between all of us. And it's gonna come down to, just like you said, it's an overall compensation package. I mean, health benefits are it's a major cost. By the same token, there's a lot of work with the job as well. So we need to get everybody's input. The village manager is committed to talking with other municipalities and how they're structured. All the trustees will all have an opinion on have input as well. And then we're gonna try to come up with something that makes sense. And then we'll give you a little more direction. But we're gonna need a little time for that. So instead of vetting that here, I think we could do that during the week, and then we should be able to get you some information. And this isn't a major, there's not a big rush on this, but a couple weeks we should be able to give you some good direction. I think that's fair. If that's fair with everybody else, if anyone else wants to comment or has any ideas of how they want to move forward, please.
Trustee Border?
Yeah, I think there is a big rush, but from what I understand, you're saying that anything we do or anything we agree upon cannot happen until the next election. Is that correct?
That's the black letter of the law. That's correct. I personally think there's some gray area in, if the village is passing your benefit ordinance through the yearly budget ordinance, I think there's some gray area in the law as to whether you have to wait till the last term. That's what we're trying to compile with the village right now. Clearly, the safest, out of an abundance of caution, that's clearly allowable, that to wait till the next term to begin this process. But we're still looking into, and we'll give you that option if we think it's legally doable to do it at the beginning of a fiscal year.
Okay.
We'll advise you of that as well.
Okay. All right, because I agree with Trustee Carberry. Everybody's entitled to some compensation for their work. I don't think the people of Oak Lawn resent paying their trustees. We do put a lot of hour, and I was surprised. But I also learned that if a trustee takes this health care, he's compensated at 3 or 4 times the value that the trustee who does not take this health care. And that's not right either. I think we need a fair compensation system, and I like that idea where if you want to buy into health care, it costs the taxpayers nothing. The village certainly can negotiate a better price because it negotiates for 400 employees. And if a trustee who's serving the village wants to buy in that, he spends his own money on that. That sounds like a plan, and look forward to working with you on that, Mike.
Trustee Desmond?
Yeah, Pat, maybe you can bring us some comparisons with other villages, other towns this size.
I can.
Okay.
Anyone else have any comments on that item? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, item 17 is a sign ordinance discussion. I believe it was the June 11th meeting. We put through a sign ordinance for allowing businesses to put temporary signs outside their place of business. For example, a hair salon, just to put a little sign out that says, hey, new stylist, special discount. And everyone was supportive of that. The ordinance isn't being used, however, because of the insurance requirement as it's written. It currently says comprehensive general liability insurance, including the owner's protective liability insurance and contractual liability insurance, covering claims for personal injury and property damage with limits of at least $2 million per occurrence and $2 million for any single injury. Most businesses in town have $1 million. So, you know, we did this so it would be used, and it's not being used. And I just wanted a sense of if anyone has heard anything. I'd like kind of before the next board meeting to put ordinance reducing that probably to 1 million. And I'd like to know if anyone has strong thoughts. Trustee Quinlan?
I actually heard a small business who, it's the A-frame signs that you're
Yeah.
referring to.
Yeah.
And it is an issue, especially for the small businesses. They can't afford that certificate of liability insurance at the
Yeah.
$2 million rate.
Yeah.
So I 100% behind you on that.
When it first went through, I thought, okay, all we need to do is find someone to write a bridge policy. Should any injury or incident cost more than $1 million, it would kick in then up to $2 million. And no one seems to want to write a policy like that. And it's certainly, you know, we want to go with the attorney's recommendation for what keeps the village safe, but we also want, we didn't put that into effect to prohibit businesses from doing it, and that was the result. So, any thoughts, Trustee Olenichek? You look like you.
I too have heard from small businesses. I think we need to help them out and look
Okay.
to lower the minimum.
Okay, and
And Madam Mayor, for the board, we have looked at this, and we have spoken with your insurance broker on the appropriate levels. Unfortunately, when you get attorneys and your insurance brokers talking, there's not a whole lot of talk about lowering limits. But we are in agreement also with your insurance broker that, you know, $1 million is not out of the realm of reasonableness. We think it's still a reasonable number. Again, I always like higher limits, and so does your insurance broker, but it's not out of the realm of reasonableness. And it does seem that most businesses in town do not have that $2 million policy.
Is this something we can,
Trustee
just vote,
Carberry?
something we could vote on tonight and amend tonight?
Well, I will have, at your next meeting, I'll have the actual official ordinance with the amending language, so I'd prefer to wait till the next meeting. And I would guess it's not a big rush with the
well,
cold season coming.
with the Christmas holiday, I don't know. I don't know if businesses would want to do it, but you know, I would like to see it sooner rather than later. It can certainly probably wait till the next meeting, but just so we do it.
It'll be on your next agenda.
I mean, if we can vote on it with direction to give them the direction to do so. I don't know.
It's not on the agenda, so
Yeah,
we can't.
I have the direction, or unless there's any objection, I will prepare that ordinance for your formal consideration at your next meeting.
Okay. Trustee Desmond?
I mean, can we give these small businesses a waiver or something tonight so they can go ahead and?
You want to take $1 million liability?
I would not, yeah. I would wait till it's on the books. I wouldn't,
Sandy,
I
I
wouldn't
think we're gonna,
recommend going on a
I think we'll have to
case-by-case
adjust our
basis of
policy.
waivers. Yeah.
Brian?
We'll have to adjust our policy.
Right.
To Alex's point, I think we'll have to adjust our policy, and I'll find out what the cost is.
Well, and
Thank
another
you.
thing is Cicero and 95th Street are both IDOT roads, so you might want to also just check if they have any special requirements.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Thank you very much. I appreciate the feedback on that. In December, we have 2 meetings scheduled. We have currently December 10th and December 24th. And I know pretty much everyone would rather be somewhere with their families on the 24th, although you are kind of my extended family, and I'm loving you all very dearly. But I'd like the consensus on December 24th. We can reschedule that or cancel that meeting. And, you know,
Yeah, we can't.
December 10's
We
my
just had
birthday.
one.
We
Hopefully
can-
we can wrap everything
We can
up by
cancel that
December
one,
10th.
too.
okay. Okay, so I'm going to ask the board to consider a motion to cancel the December 24th meeting. So that would make the last meeting of the year December 10th.
A motion, so made.
Properly moved by Trustee Border.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Quinlan. Any discussion on this item? Please take the roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. So, moving on, village clerk's report. Jane?
Okay.
Item A is, I'll let you read it.
Okay. Approval of semi-monthly disbursements, number 2013-20D, dated November 12th, 2013, in the amount of $460,904.82.
May I have a motion, please, on item, this is 29A.
Motion so made.
Properly moved by trustee Vorder. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Quinlan. Any discussion? Please take the roll.
Trustee Straight?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
One more thing. I'd like to give a big thank you to St. Linus, the Oak Lawn Hometown Middle School, St. Gerald, and the VFW Johnson Phelps Post 5220 for the wonderful Veterans Day programs they hosted this past week. The mayor and I went to all of them. Terry, you were there yesterday. Each place did something very special, and I just can't tell you, but a bigger thank you to all of our veterans who've done so much for us and have preserved our freedom. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, very nice.
Item 20 is the village president's report. Item 20A is a request to approve a Class L liquor license. This is a banquet room at 9902 Southwest Highway, Party Rooms Incorporated in District 3. And I guess we'll just go 20A. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Properly
but I-
moved by trustee Straight,
Second.
seconded by trustee Oliniechek. And
Just for clarification, though, that adding a class like this wouldn't allow for, let's say, additional video gaming.
would
I
that be
don't believe
correct?
it does, but just for,
Adding this class, as long as they're not pouring the retail sale of alcohol, that's what the state will look to. I think L off the top of my head is just for a party room if they're not doing the retail sale.
well, in other words, there's an existing license next door, so that has, that certainly is eligible for video gaming, probably has it.
Correct.
But my point is, if you're adding this banquet room, it doesn't appear that by looking at the classification that you get, it's not like a separate license. I mean, it is a separate license, but it's not like a full license. So, and that's what I'm trying to determine.
Right. My opinion would be no, that it would not grant special liquor in that room. The thought there would be, again, I know what the state looks at, and it's whether or not you can, have retail consumption of liquor. That's where they'll grant the liquor license for. And I don't think this classification allows that.
Okay.
Okay,
I
are you
believe
Mr.
the owner-
Olson?
And lawyer.
Okay.
My name's Rob Olson.
Can you say that at the microphone so
My
the
name's
residents?
Robert Olson, and I'm forming Party Rooms Incorporated. One of the reasons that we were forming it is because I wanted to keep all of the corporations separate. I have a law office that's a corporation at 95th and Pulaski, which is separate. I have TC Pub on 97th and Cicero, which is separate. We have TC2 at 9906 Southwest Highway, which is a separate corporation. We were attempting to form Party Rooms Incorporated as a separate corporation. I'm attempting to keep everything clean. The license that we were looking at was a license to sell liquor. As Trustee Straight had brought up, there would be retail sales of liquor. I want to keep everything separate from a liability standpoint. If the board is looking at it, my understanding from talking to our attorney that handles it for the Liquor Commission, down the line, we would be able to put poker machines in under this licensing since it is a liquor license within the village of Oak Lawn. So if the board is looking at it from that standpoint, and as Trustee Straight has brought up, we are going to be pouring liquor. We are going to let people bring in their own food when they rent the room. We would be selling liquor to them on an individual basis as to what they're ordering, and we would give them the benefit of bringing their own food in, or we would be catering from TC1 on 97th and Cicero to that location.
If that's the case, and I know what the state would look at, if the idea is to sell retail, then I would probably agree. The state would allow that. My question is, and I apologize, I don't have the classifications in front of me. The L license, I would like to review that to make sure that that does allow for retail sale.
Sure.
And so I request the board, you know, a postponement until the next meeting so I can take a look at that and advise the board on that, you know, on that issue solely.
Okay.
So moved.
Properly moved by trustee Straight.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Oliniechek.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Please take the
Well,
vote.
I didn't want to, I mean,
Oh,
if we could.
trustee Carberry?
Yeah, discussion would be if we don't want to hold up, you know, a business owner, if we can vote on it with an understanding that if the license is indeed a liquor license that he spoke of, that his attorneys advised him it was, and that you concur, that he can move ahead instead of waiting another 2 weeks for us.
If that, yeah, if that classification, again, that's what I would just want to check, that if it allows for the retail consumption, again, the way it works is, from the state, once the local liquor license is granted, and they're allowed to go ahead and do retail consumption, the state is,
Well, pending your understanding, we can vote on it, right? I mean,
if you had no problem with the fact that the L license allowed retail sale of liquor, and that the state will probably view that as
the state mandate.
authorization to go ahead and allow video gaming, then yes, you could approve it. If you'd like an opinion from me first, I would.
No, I'd like to vote on it pending your opinion and communication with the attorney.
Okay.
Okay, well, I think the motion on the table is to postpone.
So let's vote on the motion to postpone, and then we'll go back to
Well,
the...
I do have one question before I'm able to vote on it. How would that change? Here we have an existing established businessman that's looking to invest his money into a property next door to his facility there, to have another liquor license for having a banquet room. If that liquor license gives him the ability to gaming, how would that change the situation? I mean, is there a concern about having him have the ability to have machines in that? Is that the concern that you have?
Well, actually, so we have an establishment there with you have machines now?
We do have machines at
Okay,
TC. Well, we
5?
don't right now because with the transfer of ownership, they
Okay.
took them down until the
But you're
board
gonna-
meeting on November 21st.
But you're going to have them, and you're going to have 5.
Yes, we
right?
are.
Okay, so, and essentially, I'm assuming that the banquet room is right next door.
It's going to be next door,
Right,
yes.
so it's adjacent. So now, instead of having, you know, an establishment with 5 machines, you really have a combined establishment with 10, right?
In all honesty, we're going to have separate locations. People will come in, rent the party room, play the machines. I really don't want the people that are going to the party room, I mean, if they want to come next door, that's fine to play the machines, but if they're coming specifically to the party room, I'd rather them play the machines within the party room. I mean, I'm looking at this for, you know, christenings, I'm looking at it for birthday parties, bachelor parties. I mean, it's 800 square feet. You know, we accommodate about 50 to 60 people. So we're really looking at it to, you know, accommodate the community to have a room to rent. BJ McMahon's the only other one that I know that would be doing this, and, you know, I know they had a substantial number of bookings. I get a lot of calls at TC's, I get a lot of calls at TC2 asking to throw a party there, and it's really inconvenient to throw a party where people are coming in and then they're with the bar customers also. I wanted to try to keep something separate that was an accommodation to the community. I'm also trying to develop the area. You come into Oaklawn, that area is dilapidated. It looks terrible coming into Oaklawn down Southwest Highway. I'm trying to build that strip mall. I'm also looking at other businesses down the line to put into that strip mall besides just this party room. I'm really trying to develop it. That strip mall has about 8 open storefronts in it. You know, we have a doctor's office, it looks like, we have a massage parlor, and we have TC2. Where Remax was a number of storefronts. It looks like it's completely vacant other than the 3 units. Everything else looks dilapidated. I think the village would benefit from us putting more businesses into there and expanding.
My concern would be, because you are having 2 separate entities there, you would now have an advantage over some of those people that you met because they don't run 2 separate entities. And if you're telling me that only during the banquets that you're looking to have that open, that it would only be for the banquets, versus that if nobody's in there, you're going to tell me you're going to leave the 5 machines just sit there and not get any play?
Well, I mean, if we're going to have a bartender in there also, so if people come in, I mean, we're going to know when they're coming in. I mean, I'm not going to say that we're not going to open it whenever somebody wants to come in and use that room. We will open it for them, yes. I'm not going to restrict it to just the banquets, but if people want to come in and have some sort of meeting or something like that there, I'm going to open it for them.
Yeah, but my question is this. If you don't have it booked, that room is not going to be used. Only if it's booked.
Well, you know,
Trustee Carberry?
I don't know. The license is a license. Are we going to dictate how he's going to use a room?
Not dictate.
Is it a
just
bar?
I'm asking a question.
That's just what, that's, you know, I don't understand what,
Okay, Trustee Carberry, Trustee Oliniechek.
no, I just want to understand, is it our job to ask them what he's going to be using a room for or a business for? I mean, are we going to give him the license or?
Trustee Oliniechek.
I'm just trying to understand. I mean, I'm looking at, is it going to be another type of business in the future coming up? I'm only asking clarifying questions so I can understand exactly what he's doing. At this point, you're saying that you're going to be running a banquet room and you'd like to have the ability to, you're running under a separate entity, as you explained. Some people may look, and I don't believe that this is what you're doing, but some people may look that you may be using a loophole to do that. I'm just saying that this is a question for clarity for myself. I do think that a banquet facility there would be good. I don't have an issue with that.
Trustee Straight, you had a question also.
Yes. Okay, and I think, you know, really addressing that particular point that Trustee Oliniechek is delving into, I think I heard you say that you would want to open up that room to your to patrons even when you aren't having a banquet. Isn't that what you're saying?
What I'm saying, yes, I would like to open it to patrons. I want to be profitable. You know, whatever it takes as far as, you know, selling liquor or whatever, I'd like to be profitable.
But you know, to Trustee Carberry's point too, you know, he's asking, we don't want to be, you know, dictating or you know, what a business owner can do, but a banquet hall license is a specific license for a banquet hall. It's not, we have overflow patrons come over, you know, and have, you know, an expanded facility, tavern. That's really, you know, the essence of what I'm hearing. And I think, you know, I think that, you know, that's not what the legislation was intended to provide, and I think we should take a closer look. Then I would appreciate if we waited for the opinion from, I'd like a more clarity on, you know, what you can use a banquet hall for, and I'd like to get that opinion from our attorney before I vote on it.
And any other discussion? Trustee Vorder?
Yeah, I think I agree with Bob Strader. Are we talking about opening a mini casino here, or are we talking about opening a banquet hall? And I also agree that the businessman has a right to make money. It's a legal thing. But there are a number of other taverns in town that have similar arrangements. I don't think they have machines in their banquet facility. And are we opening up an avenue for more machines? I guess that depends on how you feel about gambling and machines. But I'd like to have a opinion too on where we're going with this.
I have a question also, as your liquor commissioner, sir. On your application, I was noting that you disclosed a $1,000 donation to a trustee. And the application said, in recent years, have you donated? And it didn't say year, and I was looking and I saw more than that $1,000 donation to this particular trustee, in fact, $2,000. And I just was wondering, was that an oversight on your part? I'm going to assume it was because of the wording.
I don't recall.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I know I did
Would
make
the information
donations.
on the state of Illinois donation thing be correct?
It would be correct.
Okay, so just, I'm going to assume it was an error on your part, and let the record show that donation to that particular trustee was for 3 separate donations totaling $2,000, just so the board is aware.
That would be correct.
Okay, thank you.
So what I'd like to do is, offer the opinion to you guys on twofold, and I have had a chance to quickly look at our liquor license classification. A Class L does allow for retail sale. So my my interpretation of how the state handles these licenses are, if the Class L is granted, they would, and the proper applications were made and all the hoops were jumped through on the state end, video gaming would be allowed. I think there's another avenue here on, does this type of business really fit into our classification of what a banquet hall is? And that's what I'd like to get a little more info and give you guys an opinion on that.
Okay, so we have a motion to postpone. We're going to take the vote on that motion. Is there any other discussion?
One other question.
Trustee Oliniechek.
Is this going to delay any type of bookings with the holidays coming up or any of your plans for the development?
I mean, it would delay, but I want the board to make an educated decision on this. I don't want to jump into anything from my standpoint or yours, so whatever it takes.
Thank you.
Okay. Very good. So we're going to call the vote, please, on item 22A, motion to postpone.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Thanks. Item 22B is an ordinance increasing the number of Class L liquor licenses that can be issued in the village. The petitioner's Party Rooms Incorporated, 9902 Southwest Highway. We did postpone item A.
Motion to postpone.
Motion to postpone item B, properly moved by Trustee Vorder,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Streit. Any discussion? Please take the vote.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Moving on, want to talk about Honor Flight Chicago. You think of Veterans Day, and I had the privilege of sitting in the rain and freezing slush with two World War II veterans, very hardy gentlemen. One offered me his jacket, and a gentleman in his 90s. I was very humbled by that. These World War II veterans are part of our greatest generation, and the organization called Honor Flight Chicago is a 501c3 nonprofit whose sole mission is to honor these veterans. It was started in June 2008, presently has over 700 volunteers. So far, they've had about 52 flights to Washington, D.C. Trustee Vorder, you were talking about Honor Flight a little bit. There's about 90 veterans on each flight. They fly down in the morning. They enjoy a day of honor and spoiling in Washington, D.C., and they are flown back in the evening. It's a wonderful experience. So there's about 10 flights that go out a year. In the Chicagoland area, there's about 25,000 World War II veterans, but of that number, only 4,600 have flown on Honor Flight. All of this is done at no cost to them. All the details are handled. If they have trouble walking, all of that is arranged. Believe me, they will spoil these veterans rotten. If you are a World War II veteran and you haven't received your Honor Flight Day of Honor yet, please call the office at Village Hall or call Jane and she will get you connected with this fine organization. Please know your nation wants to honor and thank you. It's really something special. I wish every World War II veteran could see their memorial in Washington, D.C. And if you know a World War II veteran, please encourage them to participate. This is for every World War II veteran, not just combat veterans. So, Honor Flight, great organization. They're looking for World War II vets to spoil. Let's help them out. Next item is formal code review. Every village meeting we add more and more ordinances to our code, and over the years, it's just getting a little bit unwieldy. There's a lot of antiquated or obsolete information in there. We never have once, that I'm aware of, in recent memory, reviewed what was in our code to see can we clean any of it out. It's a matter of good housekeeping to periodically do this in a systematic way. So I've asked Larry to look into this a little bit more, and I want the board aware of this. If you have any feedback one way or another, it'd be helpful. The next, any comments on that? No?
We have changed some things in the code, but quite a few things.
Yeah.
Mayor Ham was pretty proactive on
Okay.
that, looking at that.
Okay. So the next item is online blogs. Unfortunately, that's a typo. It should say online blog. Residents have been confused about the misinformation they're receiving from a variety of sources out there. And to make things clearer, we are designing the website that should roll out in December, but I'm announcing my blog, mayorbarry.com, as a resource residents can turn to. So they could see my positions, how we're working with residents, and what's going on with a variety of issues. My name will be on there. It will be my blog. Anyone is welcome to see it. It will be live tomorrow. So again, mayorbarry.com, check it out. General Village Matters, everyone thanked, who attended the Veterans Program thanked St. Linus, the middle school, St. Gerald's, and of course our VFW. I'd like to thank Congressman Lipinski also and the Military Order of the Purple Heart in addition for their help. And what was really unique at today's, this year's Veterans ceremony was the Boy Scouts were performed that flag collection drive downstairs. They had a ceremony to retire those flags in conjunction with the fire department. They had a ceremonial fire where all of those used and worn flags were retired. So that was really something special. So I want to thank everyone who has done their part to make Oak Lawn wonderful. And I think that's pretty much all I had to say there. So we're going to move on to item 21. This is Executive Session 2013-09 for the purpose of number 1, reviewing for approval the minutes of closed meetings 2013-07 dated October 8th, 2013, and 2013-08 dated October 16th, 2013. This is reviewing for the release of minutes of closed meetings from April 10th, 2008, June 14th, 2010, all closed meetings for 2011 and 2012, and all closed meeting minutes in 2013 through July 9th of 2013. Item 3, to discuss information regarding the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee or employees of the village. Item 4, to discuss collective negotiation matters. And item 5, to discuss probable or imminent litigation. May I have a motion, please, on item 21?
Motion to approve.
Properly moved by Trustee Vorder,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Desmond. May I have please call the vote.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes
Okay.
6-0.
Thank you. We'll move into executive session then. Thank you for coming.